Oh. Hi, everybody. All right. Thanks for coming early. While we're waiting for everybody else, how's it going, Cherie?
It's going.
That did not sound good.
It was sure heck of a lot of work getting a salad made last night, I'm telling you.
All right.
For
Well,
lunch today.
Maybe you learned that wasn't the recipe for you then.
I guess what I'm really interested in is how to substitute other things. And because my plan is to go through the first week with the meal plan given to us. And then after that, I'd like to know how to sub. But I am doing, for breakfast, do a serving of the non-fat yogurt with a little bit of blueberries. And that's what I'm going to do for breakfast.
Awesome.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I love that. And you know what? It makes it easy if you kind of eat the same thing.
I'm all for that. It's weekends I would do something else, but yeah, just the yogurt and blueberries every day, particularly when I have to run over and watch the kids and stuff. So that's just really easy for me. So I just wanted to make sure that that was all right.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Sorry, I'm getting text messages from ladies saying they need the link. It's in Zen Planner, right? Is that how you guys logged in? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the usual, the one with the burpees.
Yeah.
Password.
Zen Planner, burpees link. Oh, I don't think she comes online. All right. It's our first time, so I'm sure it's going to take a second for everybody to get on. So bear with me for a couple of minutes while we get everybody in the meeting.
Sure.
But it's good to see all of you.
How many are there of us?
Let's see. Right now, let's see everybody. Oh, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you.
Awesome.
Oh no, there's more. There's lots of you.
Oh.
Oh, look, it keeps going. I have to hit a different button to show me everybody. Guys, I'm not great with the Zoom. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, you guys are all coming on. So as we're doing this, if you want to see everybody, you hit the gallery view in like the top right corner. And then if you just want to see me, you can pin my video. But I would do gallery because we're all going to talk a little bit at some point. So what we're going to do, I know there's a few ladies who are still trying to get on. But we're going to do a little overview kind of what we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to go over the handouts that I sent you. So make sure you have those handy. You guys all have your own individual macros that we came up with for you. So we're going to talk about how we actually like make that happen.
Good.
I'm sure you're all very curious. All right, let me see if Becky got on. 1 second. Burpees. Sandy, is it burpee or burpees?
Burpees, plural.
Burpees, thank you. All right. Sharon's on, Sarah's connecting. I'm so happy you guys all showed up. All right, so do we all have the handouts handy?
Yep.
Super duper. Okay, so today we are going to talk about macros. What the heck are macros? Why do we need to get certain macros? And then how you're gonna reach those macros that we gave you in your meal plans. So Becky, I see you've joined. Sarah, Sharon, I see you've all joined. If you could put your cameras on, I'd love to see you. All right, so what are macros? There are 3 macronutrients. They are your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So carbs and proteins for 1 gram equal 4 calories.
4
Fat-
calories.
4 calories. 1 gram equals 4 calories. Then for fats, 1 gram equals 9 calories. So that's why we can't have too many fats. It's a lot more calories for those bad boys. So a lot of you guys are on low carb options. There's a few of you who have moderate carbs. So that usually means that your proteins are pretty high. So I want most of you guys to focus on that protein number that I gave you. It's probably going to be an adjustment for you to hit that number. So you really need to plan for it. You really need to add protein into every single meal, snack, everything. Next week, the topic is protein in general. So Jess will be talking with you about that. It's going to be on Tuesday next week because I'm going to be out of town, I believe at 3:30. So she's great at talking about protein. So she'll help you guys out with that one. As far as the other ones go, let's pull up your hand portion worksheet. And then after I go through this briefly, I'm going to open it up and see if anyone has like specific questions, okay? All right, so we've got our hand portion guide. So this is going to be really helpful for you to just determine kind of like how much your portions are in terms of grams. So if you look on the sheet, the first one that they show is the protein. So the protein's like the palm of your hand. So like this thickness, this width, like think of that as probably like a chicken breast, okay? So if you look on here, you kind of scroll down, it says 1 palm size equals 20 to 30 grams. And I would say that that's on the generous side. So you're probably closer to 20 grams, unless you've got like a really big hand. All right. So think about how many palms of protein you're going to need in a day to hit your goal. Some of you are close to 200 for your protein. So think about how many palms that is. It's like almost 10, you know, it's a lot. So don't be afraid to double up on your protein at dinner, like maybe you have 2 chicken breasts. Don't be afraid to have like 3 eggs when you make eggs or something like that. Don't be afraid to supplement with a protein shake. But just make sure for those of you who are low carb, that protein shake is low in carbs. All right. We don't want like a meal replacement shake that's going to have a ton of carbs in it. Okay, let's move on to, I'm going to skip the veggies because honestly, you guys can eat as many veggies as you want. I don't care. Eat all the veggies, all the colors, the whole rainbow.
Starchy or not, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay, that's a good question. Steer away from the starchy ones, like the potatoes and things like that. Leafy green vegetables, you can have as many leafy green vegetables as you want.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So let's skip the veggies. We're going to go to the carbs. This is an important one, especially for those of you who are on the lower carb side. So carbs, we're talking like a cupped handful, not like a heaping handful, like as much as I can balance on my hand. It's like cut off right here. Okay. So if you're having dinner and you're having like quinoa, you're having brown rice, this is it right here. If there's that odd chance you're gonna have pasta, which I don't recommend, that's it. That's all you're getting. Okay. So carbs are probably the hardest one to rein in for most people. And I see a lot of you nodding right now. So just be really mindful of the carbs that you choose. I really want you to try to get your carbs from whole foods, not from boxes. All right. And your vegetables are going to have carbs in them, but those are good carbs. It's okay. Somebody asked me about net carbs versus just regular carbs. You guys are just going to track just carbs in general. Don't worry about the net carbs. Okay. Okay. Let's move on from carbs. And now we're going to go to fats. So that's like the thumb right here. So if you're cooking, like say you're sauteing your vegetables, the olive oil that you use, right there. It's about a tablespoon, I would say. And then they're saying that's, yeah, about 7 to 12 grams. So some of you are also on the lower fat side. So just be mindful about how much you're using when you're cooking. And maybe go for the lower fat options, you know, like maybe don't use the butter. Ghee is, I don't know. The jury's out on ghee. It's really fattening, but they say it's really good too. Okay, so now we kind of broke down like the pan portions here. So move on to your meal, what's it called? Balanced meal plate or something like that. Do we have any questions yet? Are we doing okay?
I guess I'm concerned about how to find out how many grams of protein or any of these are in a particular item so I can keep track of them.
Yeah, so if you use an app like MyFitnessPal or something like that, you can do a search and usually it gives you lots of different options. Usually
MyFitnessPal, you said?
MyFitnessPal, I think you have to, I don't know if do you guys, who's using it? Do you have to pay for it? No, Melissa says no.
No, but the free one tracks calories, but still gives you information. But the premium breaks it out into macros.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
There's also another one
still
called.
see your macros.
What was that?
You can
Yeah,
see
you
your
still-
macros in the free one.
You can see them, but
Macros in the free
you-
one,
But you can't adjust them,
it's not
right?
as helpful in tracking.
I think you
Jess
can do
knows
them,
how
but
to
you
adjust them.
can't change them, which is kind of important for you guys. But it will help you track. It'll help you see how many grams of everything are in the foods. So you might just use it as a guide. There's also, let me see, this other one's called Simple Macros. It's free. And you can adjust your macros in that one to your actual goals. And they have a really good like search program in there. So you just hit like the search thing, you type in what you're looking for, like let's say Kirkland brand chicken breasts, it's in there. And then you're just gonna have to like guesstimate with the hand size, like, okay, this is like, 20 to 30 grams. Does that make sense, Sheree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone, should I move on to the meal plate?
Can you suggest instead of using butter, what are low fat oils to use?
That's a great question. And we will get there. We're going to look at the shopping list next, and they're broken up into macros. So hold that question.
Okay.
But it's a great question. Okay, so let's look at that meal plate next. Where did it go? So this is not going to be totally accurate for a lot of you, especially if you're on low carbs or something like that, but it's just going to give you a general idea of how you should be creating a plate of food, like your dinner, your lunch, things like that. All right. I had it all up and then it disappeared. Okay, balanced meal plate, that's what it's called. Great. So this kind of just gives you a really good idea of what your plate should look like. All right, so see how much of that plate is vegetables? Eat all the vegetables. And then like a good quarter of that plate is protein. And that's on like probably a normal protein side. So you might even have more protein on your plate. Okay, so this is kind of a good little guide. I think I do have a low carb version of this. So if any of you want me to send that to you, shoot me a text and I can send you the low carb version of this plate. Okay, and then let's go to the shopping list so that we can figure out what kind of foods we should buy. That's really important. All right, so we broke this down into your macros for you. So the healthy proteins, as you see on here, there's some weird stuff. Rodents such as rabbit, squirrel, beaver, guinea pig. Who's eating guinea pig for dinner? No. All right. But as you see, like this is keeping it on the leaner side. So turkeys, chicken, shellfish, seafood, all great things to eat. If you can do dairy, you're gonna have, I don't see it in here, but like Greek yogurt. Oh, here we go. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, great options. They have a lot of protein in them. Okay. And then let's move to the carbs. So when you do carbs, you really want to focus on whole grains. All right. No white bread, no white pasta. If you're going to have it, shoot for the whole grains. If it's going to be bread, get the stuff with all the seeds in it and like all the healthy stuff in it. Same thing with like your oatmeal and stuff. Try to get the whole grain version of all of that. So we're talking about our grains here. So brown rice, wild rice, what is arum? I don't even know what that is. Barley, buckwheat. Quinoa is a superfood. It's a great option for a carb if you want a little carb with your dinner. And then all the beans, the dairies, the starches, and the fruits. So fruits, don't go crazy on the fruits, especially the ones that are high on the glycemic index, because they're gonna have a lot of sugar. So if you're gonna go for fruits, low glycemic, pears, apples, berries, things like that. Try to stay away from the bananas, the things that are really sweet. If you want a banana, maybe have a half of a banana or something like that, throw it in your smoothie. And then we move on to the fats. Okay, so here we go. So they have butter on here. So just be mindful of how much fat you have in your daily regimen there, okay? But I love olive oil. I love the spray coconut oil. That's a really good one. I feel like I'm not using as much when I spray it, but I probably am. And then, you know, it's got the fattier meats over here. So these are really, I want you to kind of try to stay away from the fattier meats like the pork and the beef. Maybe once a week you have beef or something like that. Try to stay with the leaner proteins for sure. Okay, did that answer the fat question?
What page were you on? I'm not.
Do you guys have this?
I
Okay, Cheryl has it. You guys have this. So it
That's
should
the
be-
shopping list.
It's called the shopping list.
Yes.
Not
And it was in the week 1 links.
okay.
Week 1. I know you guys got bombarded with all 6 weeks.
Oh, I got you. I pulled up
Which was
the
it was a mistake. You
Mhm.
only should have gone
okay.
1 week at a time. So you like delete those other 5 for now. Don't even worry about them. So they'll get sent out on Fridays. And then sometimes you'll have some work to do. Sometimes it'll just be like today, like you're going to bring it with you. Next week, you are going to have a little homework to do. So on Friday, you'll get a green, the green, yellow, red light. It's called the food list. So it'll just be a little experiment for you to go through, kind of see what's in your house. And then you're going to bring this shopping list with you next week too, because Jess is going to talk to you about the proteins. So it's good to just have a visual of what proteins would be good for you there. Okay, we've got a little bit of time here, so let's open it up for questions. I'm sure somebody has questions.
What's the cutoff for, you talk about lower carbs, what number is that?
You all
In the
have different, you all have a different one.
True, I understand that, but when you say low, what number below that are you saying? I don't know if I'm low or not.
Oh,
You just gave me my macro, but you didn't say if I was low or not.
Sheree, you have a moderate amount of carbs. You are a bit on the lower side.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So I know it can get overwhelming. I don't want you to get bogged down with tracking all of this stuff. If there's anything that you're going to focus on, protein. Like I want it to be your goal to hit the protein every day if you can. I know it's a lot. But it's what's really going to help your body make the changes. It's going to make you feel fuller longer. Jess is going to get into all of this, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it'll help you recover from all of the extra working out that you're going to do. All right. And then those of you that have the carbs, like just be mindful of when you eat the carbs. And we'll talk about this, I think week 3, we're talking about meal timing. So when to eat certain foods. Carbs are a tricky one because carbs are energy. You need carbs, but if your gas tank's full, those carbs are not going to be used as energy. They're going to get stored as fat. All right. So you kind of just pretend like you have a gas tank. When the gas tank's empty, it wants the carbs and it's going to use them for energy. So you want to fill the gas tank up before you work out. And then after you work out, that gas tank is empty. So your body's looking for carbs. So you would eat carbs after you work out, but then be mindful of when you're eating them the rest of the day. Because if your gas tank's full, those carbs are going to go to your butt, to your stomach, to places you don't want them to go.
Oh, Stacey, I have a question actually.
Go for it.
So we have basically a menu to be following, right? And how does that factor into this?
Does not. So the meal plan, you can follow that if you want to follow it. Most of you are going to have to add a bunch more protein to those meals. If you've looked through it, they're not,
Yeah.
that meal plan is not, the macros are not meant for you guys. I would go through that and pick the recipes that are going to work for you. And then maybe you have to adjust them a little bit, like add double the protein.
So then we go through, so just for example, I go through my breakfast for tomorrow and then I actually track all of my macros from that one breakfast meal. And then I see where it is that it's actually where I need to compensate to meet the macros that you told me to meet and where I may need to scale back on some macros, right? And I have to do that for every single one of the meals for the week if I was to follow the same menu that was given to us for the week, right?
Correct. It is not easy to do this. It's time consuming. That's why I said, if it's too much for you to handle, just focus on the protein. All right. I don't want this to be like I don't want it to drag you down. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you should get a good idea of how you should eat after you try to track these macros for a couple weeks. So don't think of this as like, I have to do this forever. This is a really good eye opener because it's going to teach you how you should be eating. And then you're going to intuitively like be like, oh, like I get this now. Like I need to eat all of these foods and I need to eat this many times a day. So that's really what we're going to gain out of this. It's going to be lifestyle changes. So if
Stacey,
you want
can I ask a,
go ahead. Go ahead. That's okay.
sorry. My question is, like this number of protein is a lot for most of us.
Yeah.
Is this something that's sustainable after these 6 weeks? Is this something that we should all be doing for the rest of our lives? Is that kind of
Yes
plan?
and no. Yes and no. If you're trying to lose weight, you should be getting more protein than you normally would. So once you get to a place where you're happy, I would say no, you don't need to be getting 150 to 200 grams of protein a day. If you're working out a lot, you might want to keep that protein high because that's how your body builds its muscle mass. That's how you recover. Like people who are really active, they need the protein. So I'm going to say yes and no. It just depends on how your lifestyle is.
Okay.
Is that a good answer?
Yeah. Well, it just seems like it's so much protein.
It is.
And I feel like all I did yesterday was eat.
You might feel like that. And that's where the protein shakes come in handy.
I had 2 of them and I still felt like all I did was 8.
Yeah. Did you hit your goal?
I was about 20 short.
Oh, that's super. I'm so happy with that, Erin. Yes.
I was trying.
That's
I spent all
awesome.
day though, looking at recipes and making a plan and cooking those recipes. It was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And like,
But I'm worth it.
yeah, it's going to be worth it. Trust me. And it's going to get to the point where it's not going to feel like a chore. Like once you like figure out some of this stuff and get in the habit of doing some of this stuff, it's going to become second nature for you. And you're not going to be like, oh my God, I have to go meal prep for like an hour. It's just going to be like, oh, like we got to get this done. Like, let's do it. It's done. Bam, bam, bam. So
I have a quick question.
yeah, go for it.
As far as, you know, making sure we hit our protein when you say that's the one you want us to focus on. But we also need to be careful in that we're not going over our fats and carbs though, right? Like, so
Totally.
yes, hit that, but we need to be careful that we're not going over the other one.
Yes.
If we're not hitting it, we're just making sure we're not going over it for sure. Right?
Definitely. And like a good way you can gauge that is just like I don't know, keep an eye on the calories, I would say. If you don't want to track like everything like to a T, that'll give you a good idea of where you're at for the day. But protein's the most important. Those of you who need to stay on the lower carb side, that's second most important. Just being really mindful of the carbs that you do put in your body, especially. And then, I mean, the fats, like usually the fats figure themselves out, to be honest with you, if you focused on those other two. But yes, definitely keep an eye on it.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of planning. It does. If you really want to be on top of this, you want to get as organized as you can.
Also, like you said, it seems a lot at first, the protein amounts. But I found a couple things like bone broth. It's 10 grams of protein and I don't feel icky like I'm shoving more food down my throat.
Yes.
But it's a little sip and pour pack
Yep.
and it's 10 grams of protein that I can sip on that if I'm not really hungry, but I still haven't met my so I don't know if that's okay, but I've been finding different things like that. And that really has made a difference, that I don't feel like I'm eating so much food that I'm overwhelmed, but I'm still getting my protein mark as well.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I also substitute cooking oil with bone broth. So if I'm sauteing veggies, I'll use some bone broth.
Okay.
Or if any recipe calls for adding water, bone broth.
Oh, good to know. Never heard of it.
Oh yeah, it's great. So they make like full, like big containers that you can cook with and stuff. And then they make like sipping ones that you can just like heat up, and they're not that bad. Like there's one that I had that was like a beef bone broth with like mushrooms in it. It was really good.
That's the one I have right now. It's like a little powder pack that you add to hot water.
Where did you get it?
I ordered it on Amazon.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you put in
Yeah, grocery stores also have
Yeah.
bone broth
Yep.
typically next to the cooking broths.
Okay,
Yep.
great. It sounds gross, but
It's not that bad.
okay.
Clear soup.
It's like chicken stuff.
Okay.
Um,
But
I
clear
know I
soup.
can't be at the meeting next Tuesday because I'll be at work. Sure.
it's gonna be recorded. And then we'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
Sandy, do we send it like the next day or?
Actually, I was going to send it this evening. So probably Tuesday. I'll try to send Tuesday evening.
And then some other little tricks for the protein, collagen powder. You need that anyway, especially as we age. And 1 scoop of collagen has like 18 grams of protein. Yeah. Sharon goes, and you can add it right in with your protein shake.
Yeah, no, I've been
The
doing that one.
collagen-
That one I knew about from the last challenge. You told me about that one.
Yep.
Does it change the taste of anything? The
Doesn't have
collagen?
a taste. Does not have a taste. So you might want to put it in something that has a taste, or else it might not be that good with like straight water.
I put it in coffee in the morning.
Yeah,
My
a lot
coffee.
of people put it in their coffee. Yep. What are my other little hacks? Bone broth, collagen powder. Yeah, I just really, I've been high protein for like 3 years now, and it's not a chore for me anymore. Like, I just know intuitively that I need to just eat protein all the time. I put protein powder in my coffee in the morning because I'm not a big morning eater. They don't all mix in hot substances, so just be careful. But I have a little like Zoom mixer thing, and I think it's called like a milk frother or something like that. You can get them on Amazon, but I mix my protein in with my coffee. It makes it so I don't need any creamer.
Oh, wow.
It's tasty as heck, but I do a whole cup and then a little cup. So you need a little more liquid if you're gonna do a whole scoop, I would say. But I like coffee, so it's okay.
Stacey, what's your go-to protein powder?
I use a
Okay.
company called BomarNutrition.com. They have all the proteins. They've got the wheys, the peas, the dairy or the egg-based proteins. The whey is the best if you can handle dairy. And they also have like protein bars, and they have meat sticks. I have a lot of like meat stick, like they're like elk and jalapeno meat sticks. So I always have a protein bar and a meat stick in my bag at all times, so that if I ever get hungry, that's my go-to. And then a lot of times for lunch, I will have yogurt, and I'll put fruit in it, and then I'll take a scoop of protein powder and I'll mix it in with my yogurt. And it's super filling. And it's yummy. So try that one if you need to go to, because you got protein in the yogurt, you got protein powder going in it, and then you've got the good fruits going in it, like berries. I use strawberries and blueberries and stuff. So
What was
the
the
meat
name?
What?
ooh, go ahead.
What was the name of that?
Bomar Nutrition.
Bomar?
BomarNutrition.com. BOWMAR.
Nutrition.com?
Mhm.
Okay.
One of the things, if you need it for work, is Healthy Choice has the riced cauliflower power bowls, and those are like 20 grams of protein per
Yeah,
dish. And there's a few of them that are pretty tasty.
that's awesome.
Like if you just need to have something on hand that you could do quickly.
Yep, I love that. And Erin has these Fairlife. She's gonna hold one up for you. They're 30
Just
grams.
drank one.
30 grams.
I'm-
That's really good.
I'm
And
in the
lower carb.
parking lot at I'm in the parking lot at Sam's Club right now buying some more. Is the meat sticks, is there any guidance on buying like jerky or meat sticks?
Jerky, they're both good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
dried meat. All right, we've got, well,
What-
we're kind of out of time, but wave at me if you've got a question, a final question. Okay, Cheryl, you're up.
So what was that you just talked about that she's at Costco for?
A Fairlife protein.
Sam's
food.
Club.
And if you guys have to go, it's all good.
Sam's Club?
She's holding it up for you. If you do the gallery view, you can see it.
Oh, hold on. I'm not. I'm on a phone. Let me
Fairlife,
swipe.
it's called. It's got a
Fairlife.
cow face on it.
30 grams of protein.
Okay.
Who
They're
else has
near
a
the
question?
protein
You
shake.
wave.
Okay, cool.
They also have at Costco and Sam's Club, right where you'd find that one, the Premier Protein too, which has the 30 grams too. So
Yep.
if you don't have one, if you don't have Sam's, I know yep, those
Yeah,
ones
that
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yes, those are good.
They're actually out of the Fairlife at Costco, just an FYI. But they do have the Premier.
Okay.
If you go to the Costco Business Center on Zuni, they have them there. I was there this morning,
I love this.
and they have like 4 flavors of the Premier: chocolate, peanut butter, vanilla, chocolate, and a coffee.
I like the coffee. I like
Same.
Any other questions? How we feeling? Good? Some of you look kind of nervous. Cherie, if you need some extra help, don't hesitate to reach out, okay? I
Okay.
don't want you to feel lost. I know
All
it can be a lot. All right, well, if no one else has any questions, going once, going twice. Okay. Then you guys have a great week. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I was gonna say a lot of you were looking for a little more accountability. So I'm gonna put this on you. Send me your weigh-ins every Monday. I'm not gonna chase you for them. All right. So if you want that extra accountability, it's on you. But I would love to see your weigh-ins on every Monday. All right. I'm gonna send a group text every Monday. And maybe that'll be your little reminder that if you want to send me your weight, that's the time to do it. And don't hesitate. I mean, I know I'm going to be out of town next week, but I love you guys and I want to support you. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. And maybe I'll forward them to Jess, but try me anyway.
So it's 3:30 Tuesday?
Did we decide on that, Sandy?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
And,
And it's in Zen Planner, so you can sign up like you did for today.
okay.
One,
All
one,
right.
one more,
Oh.
sorry. How do you figure out the protein grams? You told us how to figure out the carbs and the fats,
Mhm.
but how do you figure out the protein grams?
So like of like a whole food, are you talking about like something that doesn't have a label?
No, so when you were talking on how you figured out our macros,
Mm-hmm.
so you said every 4 calories is a carb and every 9 calories is a fat. What would it be for protein then?
4. Carbs and proteins are both 4. So if you
Oh.
add that all up, if you add your protein and your carbs together, multiply by 4, and then multiply your fats by 9, add those two numbers together, you should get your total calories that I gave you. If I did my
Okay.
math.
So proteins by 4 and carbs by 4
And fats by 9.
and fats by 9. Okay, that's what I missed.
Anyone else? You guys can do this. I know it seems overwhelming, but stick it out. Promise me, like you'll feel better in the long run. Just put the extra work in, make this a priority, get organized. All right.
Thanks, Stacy.
Yes.
Let's hear it. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Misfits.
Misfits.
We can do this.
Woo!
All right. I love you guys, and I will see you all soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Buddy.